Assalamu alaikum. My dear students, how are you all? I think you are fine by the grace of Almighty. I am also fine. Again, I am in front of you with a new video class, and I know you are so busy with your assignment preparation. I think if you watch the video, it will also help you to prepare your assignment. Before starting today's class, let me introduce myself. I am Shahidul Islam, Senior Teacher of English, Malistry School and College, EMSS Sector 11. So let's proceed our class today. As I said that I am Shahidul Islam, going to study your today's video class. I'll conduct your English class today. Today our CW number is 67. I think you have taken your books, copies and pens. And of course you will write your CW number and today's date in your CW copy. Dear students, as usually I would like to discuss on previous lesson. Can you tell what was the topic of last class? Who can tell from you? Anyone? Yes, you are right, thank you. In last class we discussed regarding tense and regarding the present perfect, past indefinite and future continuous tense. Okay, so again I have shown here the structure and examples of present perfect, past indefinite and future continuous tense. Can you tell the structure of present perfect tense? Yes, definitely. The structure will be subject plus have oblique has plus B3 plus object or extension. Let's go to example. She has permitted me to continue class. She has permitted me. She subject has auxiliary verb permitted B3 me to continue class object. So there are three parts: subject, auxiliary verb and main verb and object or extension. Again, the second example, he has had his duty perfectly. He has had. Here had is B3. His duty perfectly object. So boys and girls, you are clear regarding the structure of present perfect tense and also example of it. Past indefinite tense. What's the structure of it? Subject plus B2 plus object or extension. He had a pen. Subject plus B2 plus object. Had here B2. He did not have a pen. Negative form of the first sentence. Did he have a pen? Interrogative form. She sought help to me. Another example. She sought. She subject sought B2 help to me object. She didn't seek help to me. Negative form. Sought was in past form, that's why did not for negative. And sought has come into present form, seek. Did she seek help to me? Interrogative form. Didn't she seek help to me? It's of course negative interrogative form. Dear students, you have got clear idea regarding the past indefinite tense is its structure, example and different forms of the sentence: positive form, negative form, interrogative form, negative interrogative form. Now let's go to future continuous tense. Subject plus shall or will plus be plus be1 plus ing plus object or extension. Okay, let's go to the example according to the structure. We shall be preparing SW for the Zoom class. We shall be preparing. We subject, shall be object. And prepare is the main verb and ing has been added. Preparing. Then SW for the Zoom class. object or extension. Shall we be preparing SW for the Zoom class? Interrogative form. Shall has come at the very beginning. There are two objects, shall and be. If you would like to turn it into interrogative, then only one object should be taken at the very first of the sentence, and end of the sentence you should use question mark, then it will be regarded as interrogative sentence. So shall we be is in the same place, its second object. Shall we be preparing SW for the Zoom class? So guys, it's clear to you that present perfect, past indefinite and future continuous tense is very clear, very easy to you. Today's topic identification. Dear students, wow, there is a picture. Can you tell what will be the topic of today's class? There are 6 children. They are branches of the trees, but one boy, he is small, he is not above the branch, he is still on the ground. Can you guess what will be the topic of today's lesson? Yes, you are right. The topic will be the selfish giant, and part number 2, 3 and 4. In this today's lesson, we will discuss the selfish giant's story, part 2, part 3 and part 4. So let's start today's class. Dear students, before starting the class, let's go to learn about the learning outcome of today's class. What will you learn by today's class? You will understand how to narrate a story by today's class, and you will know about the technique of making question and prepare answer. Okay, fine. You will be able to realize about fill in the blanks. Very good. These are the 3 learning outcome. After the class, end of the class, these things will be very clear to you. Dear students, before starting today's class, let's watch a video on selfish giant.
One morning, the giant woke up to the strains of lovely music. It was a little bird singing outside his window. A pleasant fragrance came to him. Hoping that spring had come at last, the giant jumped out of the bed and looked out. There he saw the most wonderful sight. Through a hole in the wall, the children had crept in and they were playing on the trees. The trees were so glad to have the children back again that they had covered themselves with blossoms. The birds were chirping with delight, and the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. It was a lovely scene. As the giant looked out, his heart melted.
How selfish I have been,
He said.
Now I know why spring did not come here. I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be the children's playground forever and ever.
He was really very sorry for what he had done. So he crept downstairs and opened the front door quite softly and went into the garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened that they all ran away, and the garden became winter again. Only one little boy did not run. He was not able to run so he started crying. The giant gently picked him up and took him in his arms. The little boy stretched out his arms and flung them around the giant's neck and kissed him. When the other children saw that the giant was not wicked any longer, they came back running, and with them came spring.
It is your own garden now, little children,
Said the giant. He took a great hammer and knocked down the wall. Every afternoon, when school was over, the children came and played with the giant. As the giant watched the children playing, he would say,
I have many beautiful flowers, but the children are the most beautiful flowers of all.
Okay, boys and girls, we have watched a video on selfish giant, and by the video, it is very clear to us that now giant is not cruel. Now he is friendly. That's why winter has gone from his garden, and of course, his garden is full with blossoms, birds, flowers, all things are now available. Winter has gone, spring has come there. Now, Unit 6, lesson number 9, page number 64. The children had now nowhere to play. That's mean they will of course play in the garden of the giant. There were no garden around, the roads were busy and crowded. After school, they used to go round the high wall and talk about the beautiful garden inside. How happy we were there, they said to each other. Boys, now the high wall is around the garden, and they are outside the garden, outside the wall. They are thinking that how happy we were there. These are the thinking of the children. Then came the spring, and all over the country there were flowers and there were birds. Only in the garden of the giant there is no any birds, and winter is still there. Here no birds were singing and no flowers blossoming. That means there are only snow and frost, and north wind is continuously blowing there. The selfish giant is also thinking that I can't understand why the spring is so late in is coming, and said this giant, and he was sitting at the window of his big castle and looking out at his cold, dry, lifeless garden. Not only this, dear student, but also he thinks that I hope there will be a change in the weather. He is thinking that the weather will be changed. But neither spring nor summer came to his garden. Why? What is the reason? The reason is that he was not friendly, he was cruel to the children. That's why. That's the main reason. Dear students, there is a word castle. There is a word castle in the passage. Castle means a large building. Here is a castle, building of a castle, scenario, picture of a castle, a large building with strong walls, built in the past by king or other important person for protection against attack. So, against attack, this type of building has been built by the important person in previous time. That's why it is called castle. Lesson number 9, the selfish giant. If you go there, then you will see Some question also. Discuss in group what happens in a garden in winter. That means you should tell regarding the winter scenario that is occurring or happening in the garden. In winter, neither any flower blossoms nor any bird sings. That means in the garden of the selfish giant, there is no birds, no flowers. And now, unit number 6, lesson number 10. One morning, that selfish giant was lying awake in his bed. And that time, he could hear that some lovely music is going on. It was so sweet to his ears that he thought it must be the king's musicians passing by. But in fact, it was only little birds singing outside his window. That time, north wind stopped, and delicious perfume came to him through the open window. Because his window was open, he is also thinking that I believe the spring has come at last. He said, that means Zion said. At that time, he jumped out of bed and looked out also from his window. What did he see? What did the giant see? He saw that most wonderful sight is going on in the garden. Through a little hole in the wall, the children crept in the garden, and they were sitting in the branches of the trees that I have already shown you at the very beginning to identify the topic. In every tree, there was a little child. Maybe you can remember, I have shown. And the trees were so delighted to have the children back again that they covered themselves with blossoms. That means trees are also happy upon the children. They were waving their arms gently above the children's heads. That means the birds were flying and they were twittering delightfully. And the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. These are the thinking, these are the actual scenario of the garden of selfish giant, because now boys and girls are playing there delightfully. But only in the one corner of the garden, it was still winter. Why? What's the reason? The reason is that under the tree there is a boy. He was standing there alone and crying. He was so small that he could not reach up to the branches of the tree. That's why in that corner of the garden, winter is still going on. The poor tree was still covered with snow, and the north wind was blowing above it. That's why snow is there. Dear students, let's go to learn the keywords meaning. Perfume, a pleasant, sweet smell. Sight, the ability to see a view of things. Twitter, sing in a delightful voice by birds. Here is a bird and it is twittering, and the music sign is also going up from the mouth of the bird. It is denoting that it is singing. The nice or beautiful bird is twittering. Dear students, let's go to learn MCQ from the above passage. Choose the correct answer to each question from the alternative given and write the corresponding number of the answer in your answer script. You should not write all things. On morning, the giant was lying awake in bed. Here, awake means, of course, awake means not asleep. Awake means not asleep. Which one of the following words has a similar meaning of lovely? Lovely means sweet. Yes. Number three, but in fact, it was only a little bird singing outside his window. What does in fact mean? In fact means really. C number will be the correct answer. Number four, a delicious perfume came to him through the open window. What does perfume mean? Perfume means fragrance. Okay. Five number, he saw the most wonderful sight. Here, wonderful means amazing. Wonderful means amazing. So, like this way, you will get 7 MCQ in exam, and you will just write the question number and the answer number and also the answer. Other 3 options should not be written at all. Dear boys, some question answer. Why did the giant feel sorry? Giant felt sorry because he could realize that he did not behave friendly with the children. That's why there were winter all the time in his garden. When did the garden become winter again? Garden became winter again when the selfish giant entered into the garden and the children went away, fearing the selfish giant. That time, winter came again. But when he became friendly and he showed his adore to the little boy, that time spring came again. Why did why didn't the little boy run away? The little boy could not run away because he was so small to climb up the tree. That's why he could not run away. Boys and girls, lesson number 11, selfish giant, part number 4. Here you will get the last finishing of the passage. The giant felt sorry as he looked out. How selfish I have been. He said to himself, because now I know why the spring would not come here. That means he could realize his foolishness and he felt sorry. So he quickly went out into the garden, but when the children saw him, winter came again because trees and flowers and everything of the garden loved children. When children went away, winter came again. Seeing the scenario, the selfish giant took a huge axe and broke the high wall of the garden. And again, he declared that you are my friend. You are allowed to play in this garden. This garden is for you. And when the other children saw that he is adoring, he is loving the small boy, that time they did not feel any fearness. Now the giant is not wicked longer, so they came back running in the garden, and with them came spring also. It's your garden, the giant is telling. Yeah. And the giant is also took a huge axe and knocked the wall down. And the people passing by, that means those people were passing by the garden, they found that the giant playing with the children and in the most beautiful garden in the country. Now this garden has turned into beautiful garden in the country because he is now very friendly with the children. Boys, feedback section. Let's go to fill in the blanks with appropriate words. They were waving their arms gently above children's heads. The birds were flying about and twittering delightfully. The flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. So, dear students, you have got the information regarding the fill in the gaps, fill in the blanks. You will fill the blanks like this way in the exam. You will just write the answer, nothing else. Do you have any question to me regarding today's class? I would like to confirm that you have understood the class and you have no any question to me. Do you have? No. Okay, fine. If you have no any question, then proceed on. Homework. And it is, of course, learning homework. No any written homework today. Learn the above discussed lessons accordingly. Very good. Very good. You should learn it because your assignment is going on and these are very helpful for your assignment. Boys and girls, thank you so very much for patience listening. I think you are staying home and you are safe by the grace of Almighty. We should stay home. We should maintain social distance to save in pandemic situation. Thank you very much.